All right, let's now bring in ANC Alliance partner Cosatu. Its parliamentary coordinator Matthew Parks joins us live now via video link just to weigh in on tomorrow's sitting with the ANC for the first time sitting below the two-thirds majority in Parliament. Matthew, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. So developments in politics, have been dominating talks during the NUM National Policy Conference that we saw happening over the past couple of days in Gauteng. What for you is at the top of your concerns as the alliance to the ANC, particularly as workers are calling for policy certainty for one?
Yeah, look, thanks. And we appreciate we're a democracy, a constitutional democracy. We're slightly noisy and a little bit chaotic at times, and that's par for the course. I think we welcome that we've concluded the election cycle. We're looking forward to the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, being re-elected as president tomorrow, and we're quite confident, having had extensive discussions with our alliance partners, the ANC and the South African Communist Party, that yes, indeed, President Ramaphosa will be re-elected tomorrow comfortably. And I think also looking forward to the new speaker being elected. And I think what's most critical is that we'll have a president who will be able to assure workers, to assure society at large that there is stability, that we can go back to governance, to fixing the country. And of course, next week, Wednesday, the president will be formally inaugurated. And then soon after that, we'll have to appoint cabinet and so forth. But I think what we appreciate is that despite all of the messiness of the election results, for the first time, the ANC doesn't have an outright majority. It will form government. There's no other formula except for the ANC to lead government. And the president will be re-elected. And that gives a sense of continuity because we're quite worried that we need to maintain and to intensify the anti-corruption drives that the outgoing administration has led with positive results. We need to accelerate the renewal campaign, not just of the ANC, but of government and of society at large. And most critically for workers, we need to grow the economy, to reduce unemployment, to create good, decent jobs, to protect workers' rights, to deal with the issues of load shedding, of cable theft, of Transnet, municipal services, and so forth. I think for us, that's the most critical thing. We've had the elections excitement, but let's get back to work and let's make sure we grow this economy and we actually deliver that better life for all South Africans, especially poor working class South Africans.
Given, Matthew, that there's just so much uncertainty in terms of what we will see ahead of the first sitting tomorrow and the various talks that are currently ongoing with the different political parties, would you have liked, particularly as an alliance partner, to have seen a more inclusive process, given that there is a sentiment of a government of national unity that the ANC is opting for?
Look, I think, to be fair to the ANC, this is uncharted territories for the ANC, even for us as Cosatu, for the Alliance. Yes, nothing will be perfect. There'll be things we think we could have done better. But again, we appreciate the severe timing pressures. There's a very tight constitutional deadline of basically this week, Sunday, to elect a president, for the National Assembly to be sworn in, for the National Council of Provinces, for the provincial legislatures to be sworn in. So it's a lot of work. And of course, for the first time, the ANC had to negotiate in the Northern Cape, in Gauteng, in KZN, nationally, for a coherent governing arrangement. There are various pros and cons as to what options the ANC could have looked at. A government of national unity, a coalition government of some sort, or a minority government. I think we appreciate the pressure the ANC is under. We think we understand the logic of the ANC, which says, look, we're facing extraordinary difficulties as a country, from our unemployment rate, the stagnant economy, the endemic crime and corruption, the fraying public services. And I think that we understand the issue to try to have as an inclusive approach to government as well. It's not perfect. There are some political parties that we find quite concerning in terms of the policy mandate, their histories, their behavior, etc. Quite a few political parties, to be honest. But I think we're confident it will work. We're confident that this will give us the stability that society needs. But also, having said that, we've said to the ANC, we need to have this GNU being governed by principles, by the respect of the Constitution, the rule of law, by a commitment to fighting crime and corruption, by a commitment to workers that will respect the workers' rights, the labor rights, that will also make sure that we grow this economy and reduce unemployment. For us, those are key things. It shouldn't be about who becomes minister, who becomes a speaker. Those are secondary issues. What's critical is the mandate that is coherent, is based upon principle, and it will be stable. Because we have seen at times in local government, in municipalities, it's a collection of positions. And the consequence is huge instability, chopping and changing of mayors, a fight over tenders. And that kind of circus we can't afford at a national level. There's too much at stake in terms of legislation, in terms of budget, in terms of workers' jobs. We have to make sure we get this right, because it needs to to give the stability to society for the next 5 years.
And just in terms of your workers, I mean, we know, of course, that they're also concerned and calling for the protection of the working class. And just having said what you've just said, and just looking at some of the, the partners that will form this government of national unity, also talking or having uttered words of, changing, perhaps looking into the basic wage of workers in the country. How are you then framing some of the conversations that are coming out from the ground?
Yeah. Look, for us, we're a trade union federation, we're not a political party. So yes, we agree with things like the transformation agenda of the ANC, which we believe is sacrosanct, the constitutional principles, which we assume all political parties who are sober will agree with. But we're also a trade union federation. Our job is to look after workers' rights, to the rights of workers to equal pay for equal work, to maternity leave, to unemployment insurance, to protection from unfair dismissal, from discrimination and so forth. And we have been alarmed at times by political parties over the years, and even in this recent elections, who sought to campaign on a platform of cancelling a minimum wage, cancelling workers' rights. So for us, we've raised that concern publicly. We've raised that concern to those political parties and also to the ANC, and to the government, to the president, for Cosatu, and even for the unions outside of Cosatu, the other federations too, on the same page as us. Those are red lines. We can't afford to deal with it. But we think there's enough consensus that we have as a society about what we need to do to fix ESCOM, to fix Transnet, to fix local government, to deal with crime and corruption, to grow the economy, to create jobs. Let's focus on those. But of course, we will never agree to any government of any political persuasion seeking to undermine workers' rights. For us as a trade union, that's a red line. And whilst we will work with the ANC, with the GNU to assist them, but also we will work with other trade union federations too to make sure that workers are united and that we are ready to defend workers' rights too.
All right, Matthew, thank you so much for your time. Matthew Parks is with Cosatu.